All right, my friends, we're going to finish our math review. There's a couple pages that we're not going to get to, but I'm just going to talk to those at the end of the video. So follow along as we do our required pages, and then I'll talk through just a couple more. All right, so we're going to go ahead and finish up our division page, NBT 6. So if you will go back to this page. All right, remember our first step is to cover up all the numbers except for the first one. Can 8 fit into 4? The answer is no. Can 8 fit into 45? The answer is yes. 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 6 is 48. 48 is too high, so I'm going to go with the 5. So I'm going to put a 5 up at the top. Now I'm going to multiply. 8 times 5 is 40. I'm going to subtract and get 5, and I'm going to bring down the 3. All right, now I need to say how many 8s are in 53. Well, 8 times 6 is 48. 8 times 7 is 56. That's too high, so I'm going to do 8 times 6. 6 times 8 is 48. I'm going to subtract and get 5. And there's nothing more to bring down, so my remainder is 5. All right, here we go. Cover up everything but that first number. Oh, this is our first one where 5 can fit into 7. 5 can fit into 7. It can fit in one time. I'm going to multiply. 5 times 1 is 5. I'm going to subtract. 7 minus 5 is 2. And I'm going to bring down the 3. Are you seeing the pattern on this? All right, now how many 5s are in 23? Well, there are 4 because 5 times 4 is 20. I'm going to subtract and get 3, and I'm going to bring down the 2. Now I ask myself, how many 5s are in 32? 5 times 6 is 30, and I subtract and get 2. There's no other numbers to bring down, so I have 146, remainder 2. All right, last problem. Cover up everything except for that first number. How many 4s are in 5? There is 1. 4 times 1 is 4. 5 minus 4 is 1. Bring down the 6. How many 4s are in 16? There are 4. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 minus 16 is 0. And I'm going to bring down the 1. All right. How many 4s are in 1? Well, there's none. You can't fit 4 into 1. So I'm going to put a 0 at the top. 4 times 0 is 0. 1 minus 0 is 1. And I'm going to bring down the 5. All right, now I'm going to ask myself, how many 4s are in 15? Well, there are 4 times 4 is 16. That's too big. So 4 times 3. 4 times 3 is 12. And when I subtract, I get 3. And there's no other numbers to bring down, so my remainder is 3. All right. Now, my friends, division is something that you will do again in 5th grade. So if you are confused or I went too fast and it doesn't quite make sense, you can't do it on your own, don't panic. Just know that you're going to be working on that in 5th grade too, okay? So your 5th grade teachers will be able to help you. If you want to do more work on that to get better at it, have mom or dad make you up some problems. Also, there's some great videos on Khan Academy that you can go and look at that can help you with division. All right, NF5. All right, these are fractions with denominators of 10 or 100. Remember, we have to add apples and apples. We can't add a fraction with a 10 and a fraction with 100 together. So I have to change this into 100. So I multiply by 10 and I get 100. I multiply the top by 10 and I get 30. So now I'm going to have 30 over 100 plus 30, oops, not 300, 30 over 100, and that's going to get me 60 out of 100. All right, let's do one more together. So I have to add apples and apples. So I need to make this 10 into 100. So I'm going to multiply by 10 and get 100. Multiply the 5 by 10 and get 50. Now I can add 50 hundredths plus 40 hundredths is 90 hundredths. All right, you are going to finish this page, only 3 more problems. Change them so that they're both out of 100 and then add. All right, next page is OA3. OA3. Now, OA3 is multi-step word problems. Multi means more than one, so we're going to have at least 2 steps, if not more. So the directions say for each word problem, identify which operation to use, write an equation and or draw a picture or model, then solve. All right, so Riley made 5 trays of cupcakes for the bake sale. Each tray had 6 vanilla cupcakes and 8 chocolate cupcakes. How many total cupcakes did Riley make for the bake sale? So I'm going to draw a little picture here. And she had 6 vanilla and 8 chocolate. So how many total cupcakes were on each tray? Well, I need to add 6 plus 8. So let's think about it. What is 6 plus 8? How many total are on this tray? 6 plus 8 is 14. So on one tray, there are 14 cupcakes. How many trays did Riley make? 5. So I need to do 5 trays times 14 cupcakes. Or I could add 14 plus 14 plus 14 plus 14 5 times, okay, for all my cupcakes. So I can break that 14 down into a 10 and a 4. 5 times 10 is 50, and 5 times 4 is 20. And if I add those together, all together, I have 70 cupcakes. Okay, I did my 2 steps. I added the number of cupcakes on a tray, and then I multiplied that by the number of trays. All right, number 2. Craig's goal was to read 40 books during the school year. That's pretty impressive. He reads 14 before winter break and 11 before spring break. How many will he need to read after spring break in order to meet his goal? Well, let's find out how many he's already read. So he read 14 before winter break and 11 before spring break. So if we add those together, what do we get? 14 plus 11 is 25. Now, his goal is to read 40. So we have to now find the difference between 40 and 25. Okay, that's your second step. So go ahead and solve that. And then you will know how many books he has left to read. Did you get your answer? Because I'm ready to show you. Did you get 15 books? 40 minus 25 is 15. So he has 15 books left. All right, last problem. On Monday, Lisa played handball for 22 minutes. On Tuesday, she played twice as long. How much time did Lisa spend playing handball altogether on Monday and Tuesday? So on Monday, she played for 22 minutes. So I'm going to say Monday equals 22. On Tuesday, she played for twice as long. So she did 22 times 2, or 44 minutes. Now, the question is, how much time did she spend on Monday and Tuesday? Well, Monday she spent 22 minutes. Tuesday she spent 44 minutes. So how many minutes did she spend altogether? You can solve that problem. 22 plus 44. Yeah. All right. Next page we're going to look at is OA4. We're going to look at prime and composite. Okay, prime and composite. OA4, prime and composite. So for each of the following, tell whether the number is prime or composite and then explain how you know. All right. First, we have to remind ourselves what is a prime number and what is a composite number. So a prime number only has two factors. And those two factors are 1 and whatever the number is. It means that no other answer gets you, or no other multiplication problems gets you the answer without multiplying it 1 times itself. Okay? Composite means that it has 3 or more factors. There are other numbers besides 1 that I can multiply and get that number. So let's look at the number 5. And I'm going to think about this. Okay, are there any two numbers that I can multiply together that give me an answer of 5 besides 1 and 5? I know 1 and 5 work, but are there any other numbers? 2 times anything, does that give me 5? No. 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, so 2s don't work. How about 3s? 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6. 3s don't work. How about 4s? 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8. And then we have 5s. So this only has two factors. It has itself, which is 5, and 1. So 5 is a prime number, and the explanation is 5 only has two factors. The number 5 only has two factors, 1 and then 5. All right, let's look at 27. 27. All right, I know that 1 and 27 work, but are there any other numbers that equal, if I multiply together, does the answer equal 27? Well, I know that if I add 7 plus 2, that gives me 9. And if I count by 3s, I land on 9. So I'm thinking that 3 times something is 27. And now I think back to my multiplication. 3 times 9 is 27. So this has more than two factors. So this number is composite, and the explanation is 27 has more than two factors. Okay, actually, I can say that. I could have also said 27 has 3 or more factors. All right, Let's look at this number, 32. Well, I know 1 and 32 for sure. And if this number ends in an even number, I automatically know that 2's work. So I know 2 times something is 32. So already I now have 3 or more factors. So 32 is what? Composite, because 32 has 3 or more factors. Okay, how about 71? 71. Well, I know 1 times 71 is 71. I know that it's not 2's because it's not an even number. 3's. 7 plus 1 is 8. If I count by 3's, I don't land on 8. Okay, I know it's not 5's because it doesn't end in a 0 or a 5. Okay, 6's. 10 times 6 is 60. And then if I went up, I would have to get to 72 to get to the next number because I'd have to add 12. So I'm thinking 9 doesn't work, 8 doesn't work. So I'm thinking that this number is prime. The only way that I can get to 71 is to do 71 times 1. So 71 has only 2 factors. Okay? All right, nice job, my friends. Prime and composite. All right, I think we just have this last page, and then I'm just going to talk about another page. All right, so remember, we did this a little bit before school was out. MD7, we're finding unknown angles. Okay, so if ABC, this whole big angle here, ABC, is 145, what is the measure of ABD? So ABD, what is this one? Well, this part right here is 75. So if I take 145 and I subtract 75, which I already have, it's going to tell me what's left over here. So 5 minus 5 is 0. I can't do 4 minus 7, so I'm going to borrow and make that a 14. 14 minus 7 is 7, so my answer right here is 70. Because if I add 70 plus 75, I'm going to get 145. All right, let's look at this one. If EFG is 80, what's the measure of EFH? Well, I can do that in my head because if this is 40, what do I know this has to be? Because this plus this has to equal 80. So that's pretty easy, right? So if this were 40 and this were 40, would I have 80 total? You betcha. All right. If JKL is 70, what's the measure of MKL? So the whole big angle is 70. This is 45. So what does that equal? This plus this has to equal 70. Solve that problem. And then the last one, if NOP is 130 and NOQ is 40, what is QOP? What is this angle right here? So I'm going to take 130, subtract 40, and I'm going to get my answer right there. All right, my friends, finish up that page. Now, here are a couple of pages that we didn't do. We did not do the page on quadrilaterals and triangles. Remember, quad means 4. So a 4-sided shape would have 4 sides and 4 angles. A triangle, tri means 3. Okay? And some of these you can name. They have a specific name. See if you can go through and find the quadrilaterals and the triangles. And then this is for line of symmetry. Remember, line of symmetry is if you drew a line down the middle, could you fold one half and it be the same as the other half? Okay, so for example, if I drew a line through here in the middle and I folded this on top of this, it has a line of symmetry here. However, if I broke it in half this way, is this a line of symmetry? If I folded this over here, no. So this has one line of symmetry. So you would say, yes, it has one line of symmetry. Now, there are shapes that can have, more than one line of symmetry. All right, my friends, you have pretty much finished up this packet. I am so proud of you. That was a lot of math. So what I want you to do is, if there are concepts in here that you are struggling with, over the summer, I want you to watch some Khan Academy. I want you to have your mom or dad give you some problems. Look up some YouTube videos on how to do a certain topic or a certain subject and really research it and get into it. It will help you for 5th grade. Also, multiplication facts. If you were having a hard time keeping up with me on division and multiplication, it's because you do not know your facts well enough. You have to be able to know those front and back super fast. So practice your multiplication facts. All right, my friends, save your review packet. For your portfolio. You'll pick up your portfolio tomorrow. Bye.